Good morning everybody, this is Stephen Pugh of the Home Bible College. We're in June the 23rd and we're looking at the first chapter of Romans chapter 1. There are 4 phrases which all come together, and I'm going to have all 4 phrases as my password for today. We have the power of God. We have the righteousness of God. We have the wrath of God. And we have the judgment of God. Now these are the 4 phrases. The first 2 are referring to the gospel, because in verse 16 Paul says, "I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, because it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith." So in these first 2 phrases, Paul is describing what God does in his ministry. His ministry is a preaching of the gospel of Christ. It's the good news of Christ. And the good news of God, good news of Christ, is how God reveals himself to mankind in the good news. The good news is what Paul wants to talk about in this letter. And it is God's power which saves men. It's the power of God unto salvation. And it is a revelation of the righteousness of God. But the second phrase, the third phrase and the fourth phrase, the wrath of God and the judgment of God, now they're big phrases too. And Paul explains something which most Christians are not aware of. He says the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness in men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. What he's saying is this, that God reveals to every human being his wrath upon sin. Now people talk about what happens to those people that don't know about God. Well, there aren't any people that don't know about God, because the wrath of God is revealed from heaven to every man, to explain to him what sin is and to explain to him what doing right is. You can go into a far distant Stone Age tribe today and they will still all have a concept of God. They will all have a concept of what's right and what is wrong. And that concept of God's wrath is revealed by him to every human being. And that knowledge of God is something that men in their wickedness turn from. They turn from it. They profess themselves to be wise, but in professing themselves to be wise, they make themselves foolish. And they change the glory of the incorruptible God into an image like unto corruptible man, or birds, or 4-footed beasts. So men come down from the knowledge of God that is revealed to them in nature and in their conscience. They come down from that knowledge into idolatry. And they also come down morally. So men and women perform acts of immorality one with another in such a way that their lives are degraded before God. And he talks about, he says, because of this, God gives them up to vile affections. And then right at the very end, he says they know God. They know the judgment of God. And they know that the judgment of God is upon all people that do such things. But they not only delight to do them, but they have pleasure in those that do them with them. That's quite A shocking verse. Now, it's very important we understand that the wrath of God is known by all men. The judgment of God is also known by all men. What is it that they don't know? They don't know the gospel of God, which is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, because it's in the gospel that the righteousness of God is revealed to mankind. So they know all about God, but they've not heard the good news. What a great challenge to us all. God bless you. Look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Bye for now.